Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Silver Lining Nation. And I have Gus with me today, guys. And you guys know Gus, he's been on Silver Lining in the past. Gus will be interviewing me today. Wow. Also, a little information about Gus. Gus is also the president of Silver Lining Nation Sobriety, which is a nonprofit. Gus works a lot with us. Let's get this ball rolling.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lorene, and thank you for the opportunity to interview you.
Well, thank you for suggesting it, guys. Y'all know I'm not used to being in this seat, but I'm okay.
It's all good. I just a little history about when I met Lorene. It was years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. And the one thing I can tell you about Lorene is that when she enters the room, she lights up the room.
Thank you.
She has a beautiful smile, and that spirit just resonates in her. And that's why I volunteered to do this. She's just been a good example of what good sobriety looks like on a person. And you're such a giver. So
thank you. That means a lot coming from you guys.
By the way, my sobriety date is April 25th of 2006.
And I am December 15, 2009.
All right.
So we got a lot of sobriety here.
It's good. One day at a time. So
yeah, exactly.
I just want to ask you, I want this to be a two-part.
Okay.
Like before your sobriety and then after your sobriety. We're going to end on a good note.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to invite God in this interview. Okay. And just speak from your heart.
Okay.
And the first question is, what is the best thing that ever happened to you while drinking and partying back in the day?
Oh.
The best thing.
I had lots of fun. Moving here to Texas with some of my friends. I moved here with my best friend. I moved here from Arkansas. And man, we used to have a good time, y'all. We used to have weekend parties. We would invite everybody. I'm from Pine Bluff, by the way, Arkansas. I'm a country girl. We would invite people from home, and they would come here and just show them a good time. I was testing my way into addiction. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I wasn't fully into it yet, but moving here really escalated it. And I used to have fun, y'all. That's all I can think about is I had fun until it just wasn't fun anymore. I was happy. I was living the life and being a country girl, moving from a little small town. Oh, it was like every corner had a bar, and I wasn't used to that. You know, it was like always happy hours, and I thought when I moved to Dallas, I was in heaven. We would have cocktails when we get out from work, my friends and I, and we just had a good time.
Happy hour, huh?
Happy hours all the time. Yeah, it was happy hour all the time.
By the way, I'm going to put this out there. None of these questions were ever asked. She doesn't know what questions I'm going to ask. This is really impromptu. And this is straight from Lorene's heart. So
yeah, I hate when I know what someone's going to ask me. Just like when I interview people, I don't really know what I'm going to ask them. So it's always from the heart.
We're going to get the real Lorene today. Okay, so that's a segue to the next question.
Okay,
that was the fun, and then what was the worst thing that ever happened to you while drinking and using? Very worst.
Being introduced to crack cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the worst thing I think that could have happened to me and my friends. Being introduced to that. I think that's when it started all spiraling out of control. So, yeah. Yeah, if I could have it, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't want to know anything about crack cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
But how about if it sped up your recovery?
Oh,
How about if it got you here faster? Huh? You ever think about that?
I don't think. I think I'm here, Gus, is because a lot of people prayed for me,
Mm,
even before I made it here. I was raised in a pretty religious household,
mhm,
and my adopted mom is no longer with us, and she had died before I made it here.
mm,
But I think all the prayers that she prayed for me while she was living, I think a lot of that kept me safe,
mhm.
and it got me here. Because a lot of the places that I would end up at, being a crack addict,
Mhm.
were not safe places. So I think that's why I believe in prayer. I think that, and I pray for my children like that too,
Mhm.
and my grandchildren, because I know the power of prayer. So I think that those prayers that she prayed have kept me safe, and they continue to keep me safe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Prayer, an acronym for prayer. Pray until something happens. Push. Pray until something happens.
That.
I'm glad they prayed over you.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Any God shots? Any God shots during your drinking and using? That means it's something just out of the norm, out of, DWI. You got stopped, whatever it is. But were there any God shots that you can look back and say, without a doubt, God did this?
My God shots, most of my darkest time was when I was using crack cocaine. And I mentioned prayer to you earlier. Although I was getting high and drinking, I still prayed. And
Wow.
some of the spots or dangerous situations that I would put my son in, some of the people that I would have at the apartment, some of taking him like to places that I shouldn't have took him. Um, I know that God was with me, because if He hadn't been with me, I wouldn't be here,
Mm.
nor would I have been able to raise my kid, because
Mhm.
the state would have taken him away from me. So God's been there all along. He never
Mhm.
left me. I didn't completely leave him either, because, like I say, I've always prayed, because that's what I was raised to do. Even though I was high, I still prayed.
Wow.
Yeah, and even though I was drunk, I still prayed. Those are my God thoughts there. That's when I know. This is why I know that there is someone bigger than me, because
Mhm.
of the things that I've gone through and the story that I'm able to tell. It's all because of him. And I truly believe that there's a reason that I'm supposed to be here. There's a reason
Mhm.
that I am supposed to carry the message,
Mhm.
especially with Silver Lining Nation. I believe it to my core that he saved me for a reason,
Mhm.
and he got me sober for a reason. My job is to follow his will as best as I can, and I think this is one of his wills for me. I hope that answers what
Yeah,
you're
no,
asking
that's
me.
awesome. That's a great. It just to get to know you a lot better, and it's just um, we know what you've done with Silver Lining Nation, but to get a background as to what got you here is, I think, is vitally important. Um, I see this beautiful lady that smiles and lights up a room, and you weren't that way at one time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I know you're drug addiction and alcoholism. You know, it's different. I mean, so we're asking questions as to why it was before she got sober, and I think that's just as important as to after. We're gonna end up on a good note, trust me. Okay, what was the most shameful thing that has ever happened to you?
There's been a lot.
The worst one.
I remember my last drunk when I had an accident drunk. I was driving my car on, I had an SUV, one of those little Jeep SUVs, and I'm like in a hurry, y'all. I'm going to South Dallas. I had already picked up my stuff, and I was in a zone, and I'm trying to make it home. And a car swirls in front of me, and I hit the wall on 75. Bad wreck, right? And I got my weave out, y'all. I got weave all over 75, and my phone's broken. And when the cops, they came, and I'm like, just let me go. I don't need any help. I'm fine. But I got blood everywhere, right?
Wow.
And I was just so mad, and I said some things that I shouldn't have said to this officer. In my disease, I just want you to leave me the hell alone so that I can continue and I can get home and I can do my drugs. And you're in the way. This is just an example. If you're in my way, you come between me and my drugs, I would say anything to you to get you to leave me alone so I can go by my way, so I can continue to do whatever it is that I want to do. That's just a fine example of my disease. They decided, I need an ambulance, blah, blah, blah. But the shame of what I said to that officer was one of my low points. And it was something that I would never want to say to an individual. That was one of my low points. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't picture you doing that,
Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, that means a lot.
All right. Next question is, did you lose anything? I.e. jobs, homes, relationships, something you held near and dear to your heart during your using and drinking?
The most important thing that I lost was my dignity. I was raised to be honest, to carry myself a certain way, to not lie and steal. All of that went out the window when I was drugging and drinking. I work, y'all. I was a functional alcoholic. I said that because I was able to go to work, and I took care of my children somewhat, not the way that I can take care of my grandkids. I do live in amends today through my grandchildren so that my children can see if their mom had been sober when I was raising them, this is the mom that I would have been to them. So I do live in amends today through my grandchildren for my children. Self-respect is what I lost. And my mom would not have been proud of me. She was religious, and it was certain ways that she raised me. And the longer I did drugs and drink, I had a bar up here, and it started getting lower and lower. And I justified it getting lower, and I got where I was okay with it. The reason I said I would say a 3, which isn't that good, but I still had some compassion. And I still tried to do the right thing. I didn't end up selling my body. I didn't get there yet. Not that I couldn't have gotten there, but by God being with me, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't have to do that. I wished I had been a better mom, but I'm glad that there's. I don't think he holds that against me. If he does, he wouldn't let me get my granddaughter in. By the way, she's my namesake, so I guess we're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something that I would want to change if I could. Yeah, yeah.
Good. I have to ask you this one because you're a jovial person. Your spirit is so high.
Thank you.
Did you have any hate in your heart when you came into the rooms? Hate.
That's a really hard word. I don't think so. Unless I'm not seeing it, that's where sponsors come in. Because I can't see me. I was hurt over. I had my ex. He was just done, you know, and he wanted to leave, and yeah, this is how sick I was. I was like, who are you? You want to leave me? And, you know, it took me 5 years in the program to realize how horrible I was to this individual.
Wow.
Because I had to learn that in my head, I have done all this stuff for you. I've raised your children, and now they're all gone. And now you want to leave me when I need you most. Well, I put him through a lot, but I couldn't see that. And like I said, I would have left me too. And also, you know, that was a dark time for me around that time. And, you know, you go through things, Gus, and you can't see the blessing of it when you're in the middle of it. I think in that relationship, it was hard for me to be by myself again, but it was the biggest blessing that because I don't think I would have got sober. He was more of a crutch for me. Does that make sense?
Enabler?
I knew that if I can get drunk, I can get high, and I knew that someone would take care of me. So in a way, he could have been, but you know, we're addicts are very manipulating. And if you love us, we can really use that to our advantage. So I don't want to say that. I don't really want to say that because I would manipulate. So it was. I can only see my part because as long as I'm pointing fingers to him, resentment is the number one offender of us, of an addict, you know, alcoholic. So I have to be careful that I don't point fingers. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of sense.
Because I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't be here, I don't think, if that relationship was still intact. I don't think I would. Yeah.
You ever hear this one? I wouldn't. My best day sober.
Yes.
My best day sober. I wouldn't trade it for my most fun day drinking or whatever. I don't subscribe to that. I had a lot of fun times too. And I know I have a feeling you had a lot of fun times.
Yeah, I did.
So can you describe what you considered fun back in the day?
It's something that I can still miss. I miss my friends.
Right.
And the ones, they're my friends in Arkansas. I miss going home, and, you know, we would always get together and it would be on, y'all. Sometimes I get sad because it's like when I go home, y'all, they said my name different from the way people say my name here. You know, it's like if a person from my town, hometown, come here and they see me somewhere and they call my name out, I know immediately they from home. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
And it's like I'm like they know me to the core, like my son's dad. We still tease each other, and this your baby daddy, because we're really good friends now.
That's awesome.
But even when he says my name, it's just it hits different. So I miss my friends, and I miss getting older with them. Not had that kind of relationship because I'm reluctant to do it because I don't want to be hurt or disappointed. But yeah, I miss my friends. Yeah, that's what I miss. And I miss being able to share different things, the grandkids with them. And yeah, that's what I miss. Yeah.
Okay. Let's veer off for a little bit and say, what's the most surprising thing that has ever happened to you? Like while you were drinking and doing crack and all that, what's something that's, most surprising thing that you can remember right now? I mean, just.
It wasn't when I was drugging and drinking. The thing that awes me today and surprises me today, y'all, is I'm sober. I cannot believe and that I'm sober, that this happened to me. Sometimes I think that I'm dreaming, and I didn't think. And I can, we talk about pink cloud. I can immediately get on that pink cloud. I hope it never goes away from me. All I have to do is remember how hard it was for me to get sober and how far I've come, y'all. It's like I'm in a maze. And it's like I've been given a gift to have a second chance. And I just don't want to miss out. And I want to do it right this time. So that's the most amazing thing I think that could have happened to me. And that along with getting to know my higher power. Because knowing him got me here. I never had a relationship with him. It's just like I knew, because I was raised in church. I'm Baptist, y'all. I knew this God. I was taught this God, but I would go to church on Sundays, and Baptists, we go to church 3 times a week. But every time that I would go, I would leave him there. This program has taught me that he goes everywhere with me. And that's one of the best things that could have happened to me. And also learning in the program that I am not God. That released a lot of stress, knowing that I don't have control of the outcome.
Don't have to live in the outcome.
I take the action and I pray and ask him to direct me. And whatever happens, believing in my heart that he knows exactly what I need, because I don't. Those 2 things right there, getting sober and finding a God of my understanding, those are the 2 most amazing things that I could have ever received.
Okay. Let me try to rephrase it. I want to use my story as part of the question I'm trying to ask you. Is that, my sister talked me into moving to Houston from Chicago. I was delivering flowers. I was living with a guy that smoked pot, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and we were the odd couple.
Uh-huh.
And hadn't it been for that conversation, she told me to, you know, that she would put me up and
Mm-hmm.
I could finish high school.
Uh-huh.
And so I got a GED. I moved to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find a pivotal moment while you were drinking or using that changed the trajectory of your life. That happened to me. I think that if I would have stayed in Chicago, I would have probably been dead by now.
Uh-huh.
So when I look back at that history,
Uh-huh.
that was a pivotal moment. And I accredit that to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
God had the wisdom to talk my oldest sister into talking me into moving to Houston.
Okay.
So that's the type of question that I was looking for.
I would say that ex that I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
he came with 4 children.
Mm.
In the beginning, it was just he, Nick, and I, my son. And I thought, there's no way all mothers take care of their own babies. He told me he had 4 children, but I was like, okay, I'm safe here because it's all about me. I got to figure out how to do stuff. So I thought, I don't have to worry about these children, right? Those 4 children have been a huge blessing to me.
Wow.
And I have 7 grandchildren because of the 5 children. And being allowed to be their mom, one of those kids, which is my baby, my youngest, Marcy, is the reason that I'm sober.
I met her.
Mm-hmm. Marcy saw, she was on it. She was on me. She was like, there's something wrong. She would tell my ex, but nobody listened to her. She knew that I had a problem. Had I not, those kids not been in my life, I might have not been sober. I made it here because it was because of Marcy and her persistence that there's something wrong with her. That's not normal. And she's one time I went to jail, and I recently found this out, and I was so mad when I found it out. My 2 boys wanted to get me out of jail. But Marcy tried to be the mom now. But like I tell her, I ain't going nowhere yet. That ain't your role. She's a mini-me anyway. But they told me like a year ago that they was going to get me out, but Marcy told them not to. And I've been sober.
How old was she back then?
Oh my God, she was in college.
Wow.
She was young. She was young when she was on me about getting sober too. Yeah. So after they told me that, I was like, really? Why y'all just telling me now? But she was a good thing. I didn't need to stay there. But yeah, that was one of the situations I think you're talking about. Even though I'm not with their father, I'm still am in each one of their lives. I get to see my grandchildren, and yeah, what a blessing that I got to help, because I'm adopted and I got to help other people. You know, isn't that crazy?
It is.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe I touched someone else's life. Yeah. So I think that's one of my biggest blessings as well. I've had so many, but that one, yeah.
That's an important one.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad she was on you.
Oh my God. Me too.
Okay, this is going to be the last one.
Okay.
All right. Before we get into the good side of things, all right? We've had a lot of good in this one.
Okay.
But I want you to describe how you used to take care of yourself. Did you dress up? Did you wear makeup? Did you I mean, did you do any vanity stuff back in the day, or did you discard it? Was it drugs more important, drinking more important, or did you dress up to get men to buy you drinks? And, can you just describe that whole situation?
I've always dressed up.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason is because I didn't want to look like a crackhead.
Mm.
Yeah. I didn't want to look like a crackhead. And I always had my own money because I didn't want guys to think that I was a slut
Mm.
and that I was easy and that I needed you to support my habit.
Right.
So I've always dressed up. I always had a job where I can have my own money so I can afford my own drugs and my own drinks. So
Mhm.
no, it was all, I looked good on the outside, but in here,
Gotcha.
wow, it was just all for show. Yeah, I was just lonely. Yeah, lonely.
Self-constructed prison, huh?
Yes, yeah. When I post something on social media, they'll say they didn't know that I was an addict and an alcoholic because you can see it. I didn't act that way around the people that I was closest to, my loved ones. Yeah, they got it.
Your sobriety date is 2009.
Mm-hmm.
What month? December
December, and
15th.
I've given myself December the 15th. I've been going by that one for a long time because I can't remember the exact date, right?
Sorry.
So I started saying December the 15th about 12 years ago.
Oh.
And my granddaughter is born on December the 15th. I didn't even know when I selected that date that would be her birthday.
Yeah. How old is she now?
I call her Sugar Mama. Sugar Mama is 10, I believe.
10, wow.
Yeah. I hope she's 10. If not, she's 9. She's going to be straightening that up with me. So, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on the flip side of the good things, huh? And
okay.
those
are the good things right there.
The questions on the good things are similar to the bad thing. I'm going to ask you the same thing. What's the best thing that ever happened to you in sobriety? The very best thing that ever happened to you in sobriety.
My relationship with my higher power. And finding true people. I have people that I can call on. I know I said that earlier I was saying that I get lonely. That's on me. It's not that I don't have the people in the program. I can reach out anytime. And sometimes y'all, they reach out to me. This one right here reach out to me. And, the other best thing that ever happened to me is working the 12 steps. Because I've always wanted to do the right thing. I would always say that I'm going to change. I'm going to stop doing this, stop doing that. But I didn't have any guidelines. And that's what the 12 step gives me. Having that, it's like, wow, I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have this program. I think I would be lost. Working at 12 step, my higher power in the community that I have with the people that are in the program is, I don't think I could ask for anything better in my relationship with my children. They trust me. They trust me, and I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you find genuine people, lifelong friends.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's the best. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. So. I hope it's your sobriety date. I know it's the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yes.
So, all right. So now, what's the worst thing? The worst thing that ever happened to you while you were sober? The loss of anybody, somebody that you care deeply, or whatever. Or has it all been good?
It's not all been good. One of the worst things that happened was a background check ran on me. And I wasn't able to get an apartment. And I think I was probably 3 years in the room. And that was the first time that I felt like I was going to drink. What happened was I went up to the program, I opened the door, and I sat there and I prayed. 2 years later, I don't know how this happened, but I bought a house.
Wow.
By myself.
Wow.
With no co-signer. The person that encouraged me to get the house was my baby girl, Marcy. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I felt that I tried to do everything right. And why is this happening to me? Today, when things like that happen to me, it don't have the same effect on me like it did. Today, I can say, that's God doing something. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be all right. Preparing you for something better, right? Yes. Yes. So that's how I look at things today. Yeah, go from apartment dweller to homeowner. Yes. Isn't that amazing? Yes. So I can't tell you today how that happened. Can't explain. But it did. I love those. Where you can't explain, you can't take credit for it, but it happened. I can't. Yeah. Yeah. So once I get mad about something, I'm going to show you. I remember when I came into the rooms, and my ex was telling people that I was a drunk. I was so mad that he was calling me a drunk. So I'm going to show him. I'm going to get sober. But now it's like I'm not in the rooms before to show anyone. Right. I need to be there. But yeah, don't call me a drunk. I'm not a drunk. No, not anymore. It's just funny. It's funny the way life happens, right? You know, and I'm going to just bounce. You've heard this. I've had $5 in the credit union. I have $50,000 in debt with back child support, and I had nowhere to go. Okay, and now, fast forward. Yes. Yes. And it's like I got this beautiful wife now, and beautiful house, and and how we're looking to buy a lake house. How's that? That's crazy. Nice. And in 19, I'll be celebrating 19 years next month. That's how, I mean, from that to here. Yes. It's amazing. I can't explain it. No. So I understand. When you can't explain something, that is God's will for you. Yes. Yes. You know, it's just incredible. And that's a good segue into God. Tell me about God's help during your sobriety. During my sobriety, how has He helped me? Explain how God has helped you. You can brag on Him. I was drugging and drinking. There's a fog. And you can't see it until you get some time, the clarity. And some of the things, even now I have to be careful, y'all, because I can get an idea and I know it's right. And I can get mad and I mean really angry over something. And then today I have to think and say, is that really going on? The clarity that I have. Right. It might not happen immediately, but it comes. Once I get still, or another thing that God speaks to me is through meditation.
Mm.
I can meditate about something and I get the answer. I can attend a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up in so many different ways.
Right.
And I know that there are God moments that has nothing to do with me. Another one is when I came into the 12-step room,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come in there to stop drinking. And it never came to my mind that it was a program that you quit forever because I wouldn't have stayed.
Mm-hmm.
I came so you guys can tell me how to control it. Because
Drink like a lady.
Drink like I ain't never drunk like a lady. But to control it where I wouldn't keep going to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's a buzz killer.
It was like you guys act like you liked me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another God thing. He knew exactly what to have you guys say to me to keep me there. Because you guys would tell me this stupid thing, keep coming back. And my children would say, you don't have to go. Your probation said you only have to go 3 times a week, where I was going every day.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, why you keep going every day? And I said, well, they keep telling me to come back. Because my higher power knows about this ego.
Right.
And he knew exactly what needed to be said to me to keep me in those rooms.
That's
and that
awesome.
was a God thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And plus, you have to give back what you found, right?
Yes. I wasn't willing to do that. When we would pass the paper around where you to the women, I would put my wrong number on there. Because I didn't want them to call me because I didn't want these crying women to call me and crying about I didn't put my right number on there.
Wow.
And I told my spouse, and she was like, you need to stop. Yeah.
When did you start putting your right number?
Well, I put my right on there, and then I said, don't call. Yeah, I put in the message, don't call me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was horrible.
I can only imagine. I wish I would have seen you back then.
No, I don't think so.
All right. This is something that I have this vision of you, what you've been able to do with the nonprofit, what you've been able to do as far as your own business. Tell me about your successes in life. Brag on all the successes that you've had since you've been sober. I want you to brag.
I have sponsees,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of my biggest blessings, and it's due to God, that have sponsees.
Mm-hmm.
And when they introduce them to me, it's like, that's a blessing to be able to have sponsees, be a grand sponsor. I love that. Another blessing that I get is with Silver Lining, I get messages sometimes from YouTube, sometimes from TikTok, different platforms where people say, you helped me.
Oh, wow.
I was in a 12-step meeting the other day, and you heard that country coming out the other day, and there was this young lady out, you were there with me, and she remembered me, and I had no idea who she was. And she said something to the fact that she quoted something that I had, if you're sponsoring yourself, you're sponsoring a food. I have no idea who this girl was, but I do tell people that, and for her to remember me in that meeting, that's a blessing.
Yeah. She was picking up a birthday chip that day. I remember.
Yeah, for her to remember me, and it's like, and I had not a clue to who she was.
Wow.
And another thing, like with Civil Lining Nation, we were traveling a while back, and people would open up their homes to us. And people would interview on Civil Lining Nation. This program, the 12-step program, by being a member of that program, opened up doors for me that I wouldn't have been able to do for myself.
That's God doing for you what
Yes.
you couldn't do for yourself.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Ooh. All right. Are there any low points in your sobriety? Even now? Like depression or any feeling lonely at times?
Only time I feel lonely is when I am not doing what I'm supposed to do. Because there's so much that I can be doing. I don't like idle time because I think too much, y'all.
Yeah. No,
so when
like
I get that way, I'll get up and I work out, I hit a meeting, and there's always something. Yeah, if I'm a couple of times I've been on vacation, and people are having a great time, they're drinking, and my mind will go there, and I know immediately what to do. I listen to enough people in the 12-step room to be aware of certain signs.
Right.
And I don't go too deep. Does that make sense?
No, perfect sense.
I know how to get out of it. Recently, I was going through where my mind was just scattered everywhere. Go to a meeting and someone says, the things that they tell me in these meetings, I hear over and over and over again. But when it matters is when I need to hear that one thing that I'm not doing. One of the things that I wasn't doing, putting God first. And I was checking this phone, social media, before I put some God up here. And someone mentioned that. So first thing I do now, I look at daily reflection. And that helps me before I put my foot on the ground. I read that, and that helps me a lot. My mind don't start racing because I go to bed and I'm like, oh, godly, y'all. Especially if I've been to a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then I wake up in the morning and I start thinking about which one of the kids I'm mad at. So I have to make sure I feed this mind. Because if I don't, it takes off to the races. I have to be careful with that.
That's good. That book is it integrates the steps, like month of January, step 1, February, step 2, March, step 3. So you must be feeling really spiritual today, huh?
I am. Because I've hit a meeting and
All right. Tell me about what's the highest of high? Like, what's the pinnacle, like, that happened in your sobriety? That, like, I don't know, your relationship with your kids or your relationship with God?
Yeah, I talked about my relationship with God. With my children, them trusting me with their children. That means more to me. I just can't explain how much that means to me. To be able, even like sometimes I might we have this thing, me and my children, it's kind of unspoken. If I'm mad at you, you don't keep me away from my grandchildren. I can still see them. And I love that. Because what's going on with me and you ain't got nothing to do with me and my grandchildren. Because it's going to be a fight if you don't let me see them. Because they give me so much peace. Yeah, they give me so much peace. And I don't know, they just make me happy. That's where I learned. With my grandchildren, I learned what love was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unconditional
That's
love.
what
Yes.
we thought about at the same time.
There's my grandson, Isaac. He was like 2 or 3. And I go over there and I open the front door and they got this long hall. And he's at the other end and his dad or mama let me in. When he sees me, Nina! And his body shakes and he's running. That's when I knew love.
Yeah.
That's when it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Unconditional love. It was just me.
Right.
I didn't bring him anything. I just showed up.
That's it.
So, yeah, that was
awesome.
I've not forgotten that. And I could still see him in my head. And I can immediately get happy when I remember that. You know, him running just to get in my arms.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We learn a lot about unconditional
Oh my God.
love.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that I've learned that in the rooms too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know what love was until I came in and you guys accepted me for who I was.
Exactly.
And wow, what a blessing
Mm-hmm.
that we get to do that.
You were very instrumental, even though I came here with probably 15 or 14 years of sobriety. I was scared.
Really?
Yes. And I met you in the rooms and I thought, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like we've been knowing each other
forever, right?
Right? Isn't that
yeah, we came up with the word unconditional at the same time.
I know, right?
All right. I want you to close up with, you know, I've never taken credit for my sobriety, never.
Mm-hmm.
And it been for the rooms, and it been for prayer meditation, and it been for sponsorship, good sponsorship, and it been them being an example of what good sobriety looks like. I don't think I would be here.
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to share your journey. What's what it's like now. You have a nonprofit organization. You give back to the community. You have your own business. You've accomplished so much, and it's so attractive. You wear everything well. You like your smile. You light up a room, and I really mean that. And there's just unconditional love between us too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's. I mean, just.
I don't know.
How would you like to close it up? How's that one? That's a good question.
I'm really glad that you interviewed me. I like to give credit where credit is due. Pam Tamar Campbell, give credit to my friend. And the things that she taught me, I'm forever grateful that, that she saw something in me and she was like, you should do this. And it took a couple of years before I said yes. But had it not been from Tam, Civil Lighting wouldn't be here, I don't think. I just feel so blessed to be able to carry the message. And I just want to be real. You to see the real person. I am a recovering addict and alcoholic, and I don't try to fake and shake. That's not who I am. I want you to see the real person. And that's why when I share my experience, I'm honest. The people that are still trying to get sober, I want them to see that it's possible, that they can relate to me because they can hear me. If you're too polished, I couldn't hear you when I came into the room. I needed you to speak my language. And I hope that I never get where I am. I forget where I come from. That's my main thing. I don't want to forget where I came from. I want to always be able to carry this message and help another suffering addict and alcoholic. Yeah.
About your sponsors, you'll remind you where you came from.
Oh, yeah. Tanya would definitely do that. Yes, she would definitely do that for me.
They have a way of giving you a reality
Mhm.
check like no other.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
So yeah,
that's awesome. Well, thank you for allowing me to do this. And I
thank
meant
you for doing it.
every word I said.
Thank
You're
you,
a
Gus.
joy in my life, and I'm glad to have you as a dear friend. I love you, and I wish you so many more years of contented sobriety.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview.
Mm.
And once again, if nobody tells you this, heard from us here at Silver Lining Nation, we
love
love
you.
you. Bye, y'all.